Welcome to United Consciousness, where one consciousness, one being, is more than just a belief. It's a movement, a global initiative that unites us all in the pursuit of peace, spiritual wisdom, and universal happiness. It's a global mission that's touching life across continents. If you have ever felt the need for connection, spiritual guidance, or just a sense of belonging, you are in the right place. Welcome to United Consciousness. United Consciousness is not just an organization. It's a living, breathing community dedicated to enhance the holistic well-being of over 3 lakh individuals worldwide. Our mission is simple yet profound. One consciousness, one being. We believe that by connecting with our higher selves and each other, we can live lives filled with purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. Together, we are building a global community that shares this vision, helping each other unlock our full potential. With the presence in over 100 countries, including Switzerland, Canada, Australia, Japan, etc., United Consciousness is here to help you thrive in this complex world. So why wait? Join us on this transformative journey. Let's create a world where peace and happiness are not just a distant ideal, but a tangible reality we can all experience here and now.
The European Yoga Federation was founded 15 years ago. Since then, our motto is unity in diversity. Please listen to the main key points.
Connect, bringing together European yoga teachers and establishing delegates and representatives for each country, considering the social differences in various countries and support the needs, equality regardless of gender, origin, sexual orientation, social class and religion, overcoming dogmatism, fundamentalism to promote universal understanding.
Promote, encouraging a yogic lifestyle and a holistic approach to life as a tool for physical and mental wellness, a more spiritually elevated, peaceful, happy and physically fit society.
Integrate and unify, integrating science and the art of yogic living, modern knowledges with ancient wisdoms for betterment of the world and global development. Recognizing, accepting and integrating the many different paths that lead to the same final goal, making sure that yoga will maintain its... Namaste.
Provide study of secular knowledge, philosophy and ancient text, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutra and Veda. Study of techniques, modern developments in teaching techniques, incorporating scientific findings in medicine, psychology, etc. To guarantee a certain standard, an established graduation system to provide a minimum standard for yoga teachers training.
The European Yoga Federation wants to gather everyone who wants to be operative toward the good direction of love and diffusion of a discipline like yoga that's taught to all of us the way to peace.
Namaste, everybody. On behalf of European Yoga Federation and United Consciousness, I welcome all of you in this wonderful panel discussion on the topic Awakening the Inner Self Through Meditation. In today's panel discussion, we have our Honorable Moderator, Yogi Yogacharya Jadranko Miklec ji. We welcome you, Jadranko ji. We have our panelist, Ms. Karine Shellshear from Australia, Yogi Baba Adnan ji from Türkiye, and Professor Lothar Pirc from Germany. We welcome everybody of you. And we also welcome all the honorable, our respected audience from different parts of the world who are watching and who will be watching this amazing panel discussion on meditation. Now, may I request for guest introduction, and then we hand it over to respected Jadranko ji.
Next guest is Yogi Baba Adnan Ananda Siddhi Viho Çabuk from Turkey. The cultural richness of his homeland nourished his soul and his life journey through matching the logical aspects of the Occident with the emotional aspects of the Orient. He attended many training programs and learning yoga from various teachers, healers, gurus and masters all over India and in the Far East. In 1996, he started to teach yoga in Istanbul and founded a yoga school which he named after one of his gurus, Siddha Ashram Yoga Center. He has his ashram in the Taurus Mountains of Alanya and Antalya, Turkey, where he teaches classical spiritual yoga. Other than teacher training programs, he also hosts yoga purification camps in his ashram. He has his autobiography by the name Without Disturbing the Silence, The Life Adventure of a Mesopotamian Yogi, published in 2008. Our next guest is from Australia. She is Karine Shellshear. She comes from a background of social research, planning, policy and community social justice. She has a Master's of Philosophy in Housing. She has been a teacher in higher education and was president of Australasian Association of Yoga Therapy. She is trained in the tradition of Krishnacharya and remains a student of Dr. N. Chandrasekhan and Saraswati Vasudevan. She presented a paper on the use of chakras in yoga therapy at the International Yoga Therapy Conference in Japan in 2018. She is teaching synchronized breath-focused yoga, incorporating guidance for a calm mind, strengthening and revitalizing the body and restoring the whole system. United Consciousness welcomes Mr. Lothar Pirc. He is the teacher of Transcendental Meditation since 1978, founder and CEO of award-winning Maharishi Ayrurveda Health Meditate in Nepal, co-founder and director of the International Maharishi Ayrurveda Foundation, Netherlands, co-founder and director of Adelaide, Germany, National Ayrurveda Umbrella Organization, Professor of Practice, Dr. D.Y. Patil, Vidyapith, Pune, Deemed University. So I welcome Mr. Lothar Pirc. Mr. Jadranko Miklec from Croatia. He is Yogacharya, yoga and Ayurvedic therapist, teacher of Transcendental Meditation and Maharishi's Vedic Science. Manoshadi Bhishagacharya, a herbal scientist, president of Institute of Yoga and Ayrurveda. He teaches yoga in Europe, America, India and China. He gained knowledge about yoga from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, A.G. Mohan, direct disciple of Shri T. Krishnacharya, Maharishi Swami Devmurti Yogacharya, Dr. Mukund Bhole. He wrote 6 books about yoga. Also, he has experience with the application of yoga and Ayurveda to sports, tennis, football, driver, judo, volleyball, etc. For teaching yoga, Jadranko is cooperating with Maharishi Academy for Vedashiv Ancient Craft, Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, India, Bharatiya Vidyapith Deemed University, European Yoga Federation, and World Movement for Yoga and Ayurveda.
Over to you, Jadranko.
Thank you very much, and I am very happy that we can today speak and bring more light on one very important aspect of the practice in our life, and this is meditation. And meditation is English word, and it comes from the Latin word meditire, which means medium and ire. The medium means the center. In this regard, it means it is referring to the center of our being, our own self, and ire means to move. It means moving towards ourself and gaining self-realization. So this is, in a simple words, the meditation. And in Sanskrit, we have the word dhyan, and other cultures, other traditions, they have their own words also for that process. So this is a very important process in our life regarding every human being to really realize our own existence and realize why we are here, who we are, and what is our duty in our life. So on that topic, I would like to ask our dear Karine, as a lady, as representative of the Prakriti, the intelligence of nature, to give her first chance to tell us about meditation, what it is, meditation, from her point of view, and also the why, the purpose of the practice of meditation. And especially she is an experienced yoga therapist that we hear from her on that topic. So please, Karine ji.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for your introduction. Thank you for welcoming me. And I just wrote a few thoughts about what I think meditation is. And I think it's the movement of awareness into presence of being where one simply is. And there is no sense of identity when we move into meditation. There is no interruption or intrusion of thought patterns. However, the thoughts may appear, but they have no noise, they have no sound. There is no pressure from them. And one doesn't feel that one has to get up and do something. We are simply being. It's the space where we come home to a sense of the higher self, a space beyond worldly preoccupations, where the trivia merges into the background and where we cease to see the things that were once important. So in yoga terms, it's where the oscillating mind is quietened into stillness and our concentration and focus becomes heightened by attaching to the breath, to an image or a word or a sound or an object, and our mental oscillations cease. As we become fully absorbed in the sense of not me and surrender to something far more expansive, we start to recognize another reality that is far more real than the material. In terms of yoga, it is the chitta vritti nirodha, going beyond the activities of the mind, in ceasing to identify with the mind and with the sense of I and me. One then becomes aware of the interconnection to everything through consciousness.
Beautiful, Karine. Thank you very much. And now I would like to ask Yogi Baba Adnan ji to give us more light from his perspective about the meditation.
Thank you, Jadranko ji. I will try to put it simply as a system. When meditation done correctly, with cleansing the Shat Karma's physical body, and Yamas, Niyamas, understanding the philosophy of yoga, keeping the balance between the inner and outer world, purifying the body with asanas, bandhas, mudras, then cleansing the nadis and Shushumna channel with pranayama practices, following with pratyahara, dahara, concentrating on one-pointedness, with deep dhyana meditation, and adopting sattvic lifestyle a must, with permission of Almighty, will be awakened inner self, reaching the destiny of man, of human life, becoming yoga self. This is how I look at it.
Thank you very much, Yogi Baba Nanji. And now I'd like to ask the Professor Lothar Pirc to tell us about meditation from his point of view.
Namaste. It's a great joy to be connected to you all today. Thank you for the organizers for this wonderful initiative. Of course, there are many forms of meditation. I'm representing the Transcendental Meditation as taught by His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, coming from the ancient Shankaracharya tradition of Vedic masters from India. Transcendental meditation has been taught in the last 50 years to about 10 million people from all walks of life, all different cultural backgrounds and ages. And transcendental meditation means to transcend, that means to go beyond. In transcendental meditation, everybody, without preconditions, in a very blissful, innocent way, can experience how the mind settles down. As my colleague said, is yoga chitti vritti nirodha, the mind settling down, and reaching the turiya, the fourth state of consciousness, where we actually stop thinking, but the consciousness is completely unboundedly awake within itself. And the uniqueness of this technique is that it's easily to learn, and everybody can have the experience within a few minutes how to transcend and how to experience bliss consciousness. And there is a lot of scientific research that has shown when people practice TM, that all the different parts of the brain, they become synchronized, they become coherent, and they produce alpha waves. Alpha waves are representing the state of restful alertness. Usually people use only a small fraction of their mind, maybe 5 or 10%. And during transcendental meditation, all the brain, and we can see, I don't know if the organizers want to show a chart about the brain research, within a few minutes, the entire brain functions in a very holistic way. At the same time, the physiological rest that we gain during transcendental meditation after only 5 minutes is twice as deep as during the deepest phase of sleep. The skin resistance goes up 400%, the oxygen consumption goes down 16%, the stress hormones are reduced, the hormones responsible for happiness are increased, and this has such wonderful benefits for all areas of life. Intelligence is improving, hospitals admissions go down. It is used also to create peace in the world. There are many scientific studies that the violence goes down in the collective consciousness. And why is that happening? Because it is the nature of the mind to go for more happiness. And this is what we utilize in transcendental meditation. The Atma, the self, is just bliss consciousness. And with TM, everybody, without having to change his lifestyle or practicing postures, these are all good things to support this experience. But the fourth state of consciousness is the birthright of everybody. And with transcendental meditation, it's very easy to do that. And even people from other yoga traditions, I have been a teacher since 1978, and I have taught many different disciples from different yoga traditions. They find that transcendental meditation is enhancing their other spiritual practices. So this is a short reflection from my side.
Thank you very much, Lothar G, for a beautiful presentation about the practice of transcendental meditation and its effect. And now we want to go a little more concrete into the field of meditation. So we saw what is definition, what we can say to have some idea of what meditation, which kind of process this is, and we all somehow agreed that this is one uninterrupted flow of our awareness to its own source, to the state of pure awareness, and this is that dhyan. The dharana aspect of meditation is when that flow is interrupted by thoughts, and then you come back to the means of meditation, on which object you do the meditation. But to achieve one uninterrupted flow and reaching the state of samadhi is the process of dhyan. And that process is very beneficial for our health, for the mental and the physical health. It is reducing mental activity because we are coming back, settling our activity of the mind automatically. And that refinement of mental activity creates refinement of physiological activity and releasing the stress and improving the health, mental and physical. But now we want to take more time to enter into some practical advice to our public how to meditate. And to everyone to try to explain in a short the basic principle of meditation in regarding to the method which you want to present. And so, dear Karine, if you can give us some practical advice how to do meditation. Or give us some kind of idea where to learn.
I think there are many schools of meditation, and everyone is different. Every individual is different. And so the kind of meditation you choose is something that will be specific to you. But there are a number of principles. And one is to find that level of breath, that level of focus, that level of concentration. And we often begin with the breathing, but as our colleague said, it is also good if we can be clean in our body, if we can be very sattvic in the body, if we can clear the mind and clear the physical body of impurities as we enter into a realm of seeking to meditate. My focus is on the breath, on the inward and outward breath, and then to concentrate a little further and to find a focus of attention and to simply let thoughts go. I don't believe we can completely block our thoughts, but we can stop being attached to them. They can stop being ours. We can stop feeling identity with them and just allow them to move through and just push them past like you would see a cloud moving past. And then to focus on our attention. It could be on the breath, it could be on an object, it could be on a word, a mantra, it could be on a meaning. But the object, it's to have an object of focus where we can bring our concentration. Now, whether meditation happens to you or not is really beyond our control. But just as we make our bed to go to sleep, we do all the preparation, we make sure we're calm, and sleep happens. Meditation happens in a similar way.
Thank you very much, Karine. I liked very much your expression that meditation happens. We can't do meditation because the real meditation is guided by that invincible force of nature, evolution, or cosmic intelligence, which is guiding life and moving everything, or with Prakriti. The power of Prakriti is doing the meditation for you, but we need to start. We need to start with dharana to choose the object of meditation and then to surrender to the process which is guided by the nature of life, and then meditation is happening. And then at the end happens that complete silence, and then entering to that self-realization state, if it happens. Okay, thank you. So please now, Yogi Baba Adnanji, can you tell us about the method which you prefer in the practice and some principles regarding that method?
Yes, Jadranko-ji, what I have understood by this time of many years study and practicing with students, different systems, I realized that the diet, the sattvic lifestyle is a must. I mean, that is really very important. Otherwise, the mind is toxic and cannot be free, cannot be in peace. So lifestyle, sattvic lifestyle, I started as a must. Then sometimes I tell my students when we study together, when we practice together, that I tell them, do not think of meditation. Just sit down, we close our eyes and tell them, right now, do not want anything. Do not want anything. Repeating inside twice that I do not want anything, because in all our life, daily life, 24 hours, we always want something. We either you don't want to do something that way, or we want to do this way. There's continuous asking. And this is keeping the mind busy and toxic. So that's why I keep saying, tell yourself that right now, we do not want anything. We do not want anything. Then the mind, when you hear this voice, do not want anything, it surrenders to the boss. The boss doesn't want anything. So it's easier to quiet the mind of my experiences. Then sometimes when we get into dharana, concentration, either it is the sound, om, or it is the third eye, or it is the breathing, which is, I think, for me, is the most important, to follow the breath, how it enters from the nostrils, to feel the sensation of the both nostrils entering the air inside and out, is very strong concentration. I work on that mostly and recommend it. But I also say that for a new student who is really on the path, he cannot concentrate easily on any point, either om or third eye or breathing. So I tell them, okay, you have to do two objects. One, look at the third eye, and then watch out your breath. Because when you take one pointedness, and the mind is so strong, and you don't have the experience to control it, something comes to your mind continuously, and you have to return back. It becomes a little harder. Rather, when you have two pointedness, example, when you look at the third eye, and then look at the breath, then you have to go between one of them. And one of them is disappearing, you will stand in one pointedness. It's an interesting experience, but I recommend it to my students. Example, I say that when we meditate, the mind comes, like my mother comes to my mind. I tell the student, okay, don't get angry at your mother, or don't tell, let me alone, I am doing meditation. Do not go to negative emotion, but rather tell your mother, I saw you, now you can go. All the time, I saw you, now you can go. Then you will be able to send the vision of your mom away. This way it works practically. I have worked on it. So I can recommend, first of all, the student or the practitioner must have a clean diet, sattvic lifestyle, and whichever prefer breathing technique, sound technique, or third eye, and also patient, of course. And then for meditation, it is often, we know classically we have to choose the right place, right time, and it has to contour. It has to be not too much. We should not be too hungry. We should not be too full, heat and cold. These are the conditions also. It must be there for meditator. And we wish good luck to everyone.
Thank you very much, Yogi Baba Nanji. You brought one very important aspect related to meditation, and this is the principles of yama and niyama, and also the healthy lifestyle, the healthy food habits, and that accept practicing meditation to have any practice of meditation, to have the maximum benefit of this time spent in meditation, and to have the best experience. The beginning state of meditation should be already sattvic condition of our consciousness. It means chitta. And the individual field of consciousness to be in the sattvic condition. And we are supporting that sattvic condition of our chitta or our individual consciousness by paying attention to our healthy way of life. And for that purpose, also the knowledge from Ayrurveda and all aspects and the healthy food habits are very important, because our chitta can be in the mudha state. It means tamas dominated very much, then kshipta, rajas dominated, very unrest, and then vikshipta, also the rajas with some sattva coming, and then ekagrata. Ekagrata is the sattvic state of our chitta or of consciousness, which is possible to start with dharana in the proper way, so that you are able to have already some peace in your mind. And then the dhyan is more successful, the process of dhyan, when you have that ekagrata established already as a sattvic condition of your consciousness during the 24 hours of our life. And then from that, it can happen the niruddha state of consciousness or transcendence, where from the sattva you can reach the sattva shuddhi state of the guna, and by sattva shuddhi your buddhi can give you ability of self-realization. And so this aspect is very important to pay attention, that not only meditation, but also along with meditation, it goes all 8 limbs of yoga mentioned in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So yoga is practiced in an integral way in that sense. So then now I would like to ask Professor Lothar Pirc to tell us about the principles of the practice of transcendental meditation.
Thank you, all the speakers. It was very beautiful what you have said. And of course, if people come to learn meditation and they have a sattvic lifestyle and they follow sattvic Ayurvedic diet, and if they practice already yoga asana and pranayama before, then they can go more easily, more deep. For transcendental meditation, there is no such requirement. It is so that when people become more alert through the transcendental meditation, that naturally they are inclined to a better lifestyle without having to tell them. The principle of transcendental meditation is that it is completely natural, easy, and effortless. And the fourth state of consciousness, samadhi, atma, is a state of bliss consciousness. And our mind is always looking for happiness. And usually we look in the outer world for happiness through some nice food or having some nice items that we want to have. And we're always looking for happiness. And with transcendental meditation, we just allow the mind to go effortlessly and easily, naturally, to go where it wants to go anyway. There is nothing more fulfilling than unbounded bliss consciousness. But to get there, we still need a technique, we need a vehicle. And in transcendental meditation, we have this technique that was taught by all the great seers and rishis of ancient India, Vasishta, Vedavyasa, Shankaracharya. This is our tradition. And from this tradition, and our Gurudev, who was Shankaracharya von Jyotirmat, Brahmananda Saraswati, Maharshi's master, we have this technique that everybody can do it without having to change the lifestyle. And the technique consists of two parts. One part is that the people who learn transcendental meditation, first of all, they can only learn from teachers who have been trained by Maharshi, and it's taught in 7 steps of learning. And after hearing the benefits, they have a talk about the technique, how it differs from other meditations and where it comes from. And during the personal instruction, they receive a mantra or sound. The mantra doesn't have any meaning, but the sound is suitable, the Sanskrit sound, to the nervous system of the person. So not everybody gets the same mantra. And one thing is that we have to learn the sound, the mantra that suits to us. And the other thing that we have to learn, which is equally important, is how to use that sound properly without any effort. And the sound in itself is such that it refines itself because it wants to go to the source, to the Atma. And we have to learn, that takes 4 days, how to deal with thoughts that come during meditation. And we have to learn the mantra and then the sound, how to use it properly. And that takes about 4 days, and then everybody can do it. And it is very important that the technique, for me, it's still a miracle after 50 years that it really works for everybody, people who have tried so many different things. And I think that it comes from the blessings of the holy tradition of the Vedic masters. And to have these blessings, we are performing a puja, a traditional thanksgiving ceremony to the Vedic masters, where also not only the Vedic masters are named, but also the criteria, the qualities of this pure consciousness are described. And this is expanding the awareness of the teacher so that he can teach this beautiful highest knowledge from that level of pure consciousness. It's a technique for the teacher. And it's really miraculous how simple it is, and how in the first session already the people experience transcendental meditation consciousness in a very, really, I must emphasize, natural and easy way. And even in the first meditation, the brainwaves become coherent, the rest is there. And it's completely authentic, this meditation technique. And so we would recommend people can read about the benefits. There is a TM website, tm.org. And then there are also lectures that you can go to the TM centers around the world to find your teacher. And then you learn the technique, and then you can apply it. And the people are enjoying the practice. It's not that they have to force or make an effort, and they are rewarded immediately. You know, after meditation, when you were exhausted before, you feel fresh and happy and dynamic afterwards. So the people just like to do it. And I can say that all meditations are useful and are good. And TM is for those who want to go directly. You know, you can go to Rome with a plane, or you can go with a train, or you can go with a bicycle. And TM is a direct way to the transcendental consciousness. I hope that makes sense for you, what I have said. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Lothar ji, explaining the principles of transcendental meditation. And now we'd like to move to understand the nature of the goal of meditation. And this is actually related with the first question, why we do meditation, to reach that goal. And the goal is self-realization, or tada drashtuh svarupe avasthanam, as Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutras, and to be established in your true self, to get self-realization. And later it is mentioned as a state of samadhi, the last of the 8 limbs of the yoga, to reach the state of samadhi. Now we would like to discuss a little about the nature of that experience. How we know that we are reaching the goal in meditation. That meditation don't become mad attention, as one great master from Himalaya, Yogi Maharishi Swami Demurti, once said, that sometimes the meditation becomes mad attention, but we need to establish for the audience some criteria of the correct experience, and which is in some way related to the description of the nature of the state of samadhi in the traditional text of Yoga Sutras. So relation of samadhi to the final goal of experience in meditation and our experience. So Karine, please.
I think there are a lot of practical reasons why we should meditate, particularly given the research that has been undertaken to show the health benefits, the mental benefits, etc., that are achieved. But if we are looking at the yoga path, probably the first goal is coming in touch with the Jiva Atma, one's own sense of Atma. And then the ultimate goal would be the Para Atma, the equivalent to Brahman, the understanding of the cosmic, the understanding of the purpose, not just of ourself, but the purpose of everything, to have that insight that goes beyond knowledge, that I guess comes from that very deep wisdom that is motivated by the Prakriti, as you said, that brings together an insight of something far greater than the small world in which we inhabit and cohabit.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Karine. And you beautifully explained the whole value of the yoga in relation to the self-realization. And this is Jivatma Yoga, Atma Yoga, and Paramatma Yoga. So in a sense, as yoga being the wholeness of life, and it has the 3 aspects of itself in the Vedic science, the Samhita as yoga, and then Rishi Devata Chandas. The Chandas is more the physical aspect of life where we are involved as a doer, to be active in. Then the Devata aspect is more perceiver or the experiencer. And the Chandas is the witness of the process, the silence, total silence. So then those 3 aspects of yoga are guiding us from the gross to the subtle, transcending the subtlest and reaching the state of that pure witnessing state. And then realizing that that Atma is the Brahman. So this is the whole path, as you nicely explained. So then in that sense, this is a Vedantic kind of approach, and each approach has its own language. And in the Yoga Sutra, we have description of different kind of samadhi, samprajñata samadhi and asamprajñata samadhi, and then different kind of samprajñata samadhis. And the whole process is explained how one state of samadhi is transformed to another and to another and to another in the same practice of meditation, in one stroke of meditation, that process. So now I would like Yogi Baba Adnanji to tell us something about the samadhi.
Of course, samadhi is becoming one with the universe, the highest ecstasy and no attachment at all. It is the Anandamaya condition. And when the person reaches this inner self, we call it nirvana or mukti, many names, the feeling of that the body expand at that moment, it's not the body, but the energy body expand so much to every direction in the atmosphere, in the universe. The person feels that he is the universe because his energy body is expanded as far as it could. He is not at that point anymore. He is everywhere. And everywhere is himself. So he becomes one with the universe and he feels he is the universe. He is the Almighty. He is part of it. So that is the sense when it is happening, the awakening happening, this is the powerful stage the person feels because his energy body will extend far away from where he is standing to every direction. So he's not anymore in that point, he's everywhere. So the secret of life comes to him. He knows everything. He doesn't need to read books. So he doesn't have that ego anymore because we human beings, first we are in fear of survival, then the fear brings ego for survival. But then when we do this kind of practices, meditation, yoga, and ecstasy, we feel this to that stage. When we come to that stage, ego completely disappear, fear completely disappear. So if the person is meditating and still has an ego, has fear, he's angry, he's nervous, he can be unpleasant to others. Even how deep he meditate, it doesn't matter anymore because he is still in this world. He's still in the mind, but he thinks he is meditating. For me, when the person has become very humble and he sees everybody like himself, he can't harm anybody. He loves everything. He loves the plants, the snake. He loves people who is not good to him. He loves them too. So he becomes love himself. That's what it is.
Beautiful, Yogi Baba Adnanji. And I'm very thankful to you explaining in a practical way the description of asamprajñata samadhi, the real samadhi state, which is beyond asmita samadhi or beyond the ego-related state of samadhi, because asmita is the ego or not a self-realized condition yet. So these are the stages of the samadhi, which we can go a little later in deeper sense. But from that point of view, we can see that there are different approaches to reach the state of samadhi. But the goal and what you described is a very beautiful description of to what we are aiming by meditation. So now, Lotharji, please, you can tell us your point of view.
Yeah, first of all, thank you to the previous speaker. It's just beautiful. I'd like to shed some lights from 2 points of view on that. The first one is the individual, enlightenment for the individual. And the second one is the creation of peace and heaven on earth for humanity. My teacher, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, taught us that there are 7 states of consciousness. And what my previous speaker has explained is something of a little bit of everything. And the 7 states of consciousness are waking, dreaming, and sleeping. And the 4th state is transcendental consciousness, the 4th state of consciousness. And when our nervous system is purified, when all the stresses have been released through deep rest of meditation and detoxification of the body with Ayrurveda, and then gradually our nervous system gains the ability to maintain this inner unbounded silence all the time, 24 hours a day, no matter if we are sleeping or waking or dreaming, this connection to the self is always there. And that is the fifth state of consciousness, which is called cosmic consciousness. Cosmic means to be all-inclusive. That is the integration of rest, of silence and activity at the same time, the coexistence. And then all our thoughts are in harmony with nature. They come directly from this unified field, from this Atma level of life. Now, the fifth state of consciousness, which is also growing through transcendental meditation and its advanced technique, is called Bhagavad Chetana. It's called God consciousness. When we have the cosmic consciousness, we are established in the self, and we are able to appreciate the finest values of life, the celestial values. Then we marvel at the creation so much that we feel so much love, because it's all beautiful and divine and in harmony, seeing the celestial values of life. This is called God consciousness. And we know from the scientific research that there are physiological parameters that confirm that. And then the love is growing so much to the objects of the outer world that we gradually appreciate our unboundedness in the others. And then we love our neighbor like we love ourselves. And this is called unity consciousness. And when we have this with everything in creation, it's called Brahman consciousness. So these are the 7 states of consciousness. And your question, Jadranko, was why meditation? What is the purpose? The purpose of meditation is to unfold our full consciousness, to reach enlightenment, all the 7 states of consciousness. But at the same time, we see so much suffering in the outer world. We have so many problems now with peace, in wars, in terrorism. And we know from the ancient Yoga Sutras that in the vicinity of yoga, the violence in the surroundings disappear. And I have studied the Ayurvedic texts, how actually war happens. The people lose the ability to live a dharmic life. And then there is a creation of stress in the environment, which leads to ego and all the problems that we see in the world today. And the second purpose why we should meditate is to create a better world, to purify the collective consciousness from all these problems that we have. And that is really possible. And there is a lot of scientific research. There are about 50 studies, peer-reviewed studies that have appeared in prestigious journals. And the last one was done at the beginning of the year in Hyderabad, where we assembled 10,000 advanced meditators who practice the TM City program with the yogic flying. They assembled, and just 2 weeks ago, the research has come out that the 3 most troubled countries in the world with war activities, the violence went down during this period of 2 weeks by 29%. And there have been many studies before. And I would like to encourage all of you, no matter what kind of meditation you practice, there is the World Meditation Day on 21st of December, where we encourage all yoga schools, all meditation directions to meditate together, your local time, 8 a.m. in the morning and 5 p.m. in the afternoon, so that we can create this influence of positivity for the whole world. So to summarize, to unfold the full potential and to create heaven on earth, this is why we should meditate.
Thank you, Lothar G, for a beautiful expansion of the effect of the practice of meditation from the person to the society. And now, in some way, we can see how to, from all our discussion, to take some conclusions about the meditation. and to compare this with the ancient teaching about meditation, which we can find in those ancient texts, traditional, as also in Vijnana Bhairava, one text which is describing about 112 methods of meditation, and regarding to the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and regarding to the some ancient teaching of other yoga masters from ancient times. And the process of meditation, it is involving the subject, object, and the process which connects subject with the object. This is the starting point from where we start meditating. So we take some object and then we relate to that object with our awareness. And that object should be of a pleasant nature. This is some. And the object can be the object of the mind, the object as mantra, or as some specific we can say mental concept, or it can be the breath, or it can be the any tanmatra, the object of the five senses. It can be the channel through which we are connecting. And then the process is to starting withdrawing, and that connection between subject and object becoming more intimate, and being free from other disturbing objects in the form of the mental content in our consciousness, so that we can experience that object on a finer level of its own existence. So this is from the vitarka state of samadhi to vichara. The vitarka state is, for example, we are conscious of some mantra or some or the breath, and then the vichara is where we become conscious of the on the more refined level. So the subject is in the state of more silence, the process becomes more silence, and the object becomes more refined in the process of experience. And then the final stage of each object is ananda, because everything is created from ananda. All objects, all creation and everything. So then it is leading from vitarka vichara to ananda samadhi. So where you are in the process of meditation, just experiencing, you transcend actually the object of your meditation, whether this is mantra or any other object or the breath, and you come to the state of complete inner bliss. And then this ananda becomes the object of meditation. And then this is leading you more and more towards your own self and reaching the state of asmita samadhi. And in asmita samadhi, even the ananda goes away. So there is no more object in any sense. The object now becomes asmita, I. What was previously the subject of meditation now becomes the object. So in that sense, any method of meditation, it can be different methods using different starting points. But the process is all those different methods is unifying them on the level of asmita samadhi, where only asmita remains, nothing else, no mantra, no thinking, no breathing, no physical activity. So everything stops and only I is there. And this is the last step of that samprajñata samadhi, which Patanjali describes. And then what happens when now I is there, and there is somebody who is experiencing that I, which was hidden before when that I was related with experiences. Then that I was the subject. But now when he becomes the object, then that consciousness which is behind that I has possibility to reveal itself to itself. And then that I transforms itself to its original state. So the asmita is transformed to the ahamkara, as our I am, experienced individual awareness, and then that I am realized I am that. So then ahamkara, when Patanjali says tada drashtuk svarupe avasthana, it means then the seer. Who is that seer? becomes established in his true nature, this is ahamkara in the chitta. So then ahamkara is getting self-realization. I am that. I am that Atman. And but that process from asmita samadhi to the, and this is asamprajnata samadhi. And that process is unique, and there is no more any method of meditation there. It is just being there in that condition, and then the power of nature is taking over the further transformation to give you self-realization. So self-realization we can't achieve by any technique of meditation, in that sense, by any kind of our doing, but only when we let go and we just remain there, surrendered to the power of nature, then transformation happens. And then in that state where there was no activity, suddenly eruption of the activity happens, the Shakti awakens fully, and the transformation of the body and consciousness to that eternal state of bliss, which is the different kind than the bliss of Ananda Samadhi. So then that inner process happens. But this to happen, we need to reach that Asmita Samadhi. And this is great achievement already to reach that state. This is what Maharishi once explained as a Dirghatamas state, that Asmita Samadhi, and then transformation to the Madhu Chandas, it is Asamprajnata Samadhi. And Patanjali describes that transformation happening through the Dharma Mega Samadhi, which means the cloud of virtue showering on you. So when, in that sense, when you are in that state, I am, and nothing else, just I am, then on that I starts to shower the cloud of virtue, like a rain, heavy rain, which is expanding your heart, transforming you, purifying you to the Atma, that Atma Shuddhi happens, Atma Shuddhi, and purifying you to reach the state of that pure self. And then all the virtue becomes instilled in you as a personality, which you live in the life. But to reach that state, there is a proper need to have a proper guidance and not to misunderstand the nature of the samadhis. That's why the Yoga Sutras are very valuable texts to give us the very clear understanding on our path to self-realization where we are. If we misunderstand where we are and we think we are somewhere else than what we are, then we can become unrealistic about ourselves, and it will not lead us to the self-realization, but more in the delusion condition. And this is the last point I wanted to ask you about possible some adverse effects of meditation, that we take both aspects. Everything has how to say indication and contraindication in the practice of yoga, even on the level of the practice of asana, pranayama, and also meditation. What could be we saw what is indication and for what is useful, and what would be possible contraindications, and how to handle this condition. So please, Karine, because you are the yoga therapy master, you are handling that aspect. You were for sure facing such conditions.
Well, I think there's been a lot written about the positive effects, a lot of research undertaken on the positive effects of meditation. And as a social researcher, I'm very interested that they've utilized it in primary schools and seen extraordinary differences in the way children interact with each other and in the way that they're dealing with stress. We've seen it used in prisons. We've seen that, with some of the Wisconsin studies of people who had been meditating for 10,000 hours or more. We saw actual physical changes that occurred in the cortex. where the DNA and the cellular structure are more protected. So we're seeing transformational processes occurring at the physical, the physiological, the mental, and the emotional levels. All of those are a very good promotion of meditation. However, as a researcher, I would have to say that what we don't capture is when do people drop out? Why do they drop out? What happens to them? And I feel inconclusive about saying meditation is absolutely for everyone. There is not a single person that wouldn't benefit from meditation, because we don't fully know. And there are certainly circumstances where people have been to Vipassana and ended up having to have psychiatric treatment. So all good things in meditation, all good things in moderation. When Patanjali advocates krama, that we do things in steps of progress, and that we step up, we consolidate, and before we move on. And I think that they're very wise words about looking at where we're at, what we want to achieve, how we understand where we're at. We reflect on that. With Svadhyaya, we look, we take it in, we look at where we're going to next. And we are on the road of progress. And I think adequate training for people at the right pace, at the right time, might avoid some of the unfortunate circumstances that happen to others. But if we look at the research of success, it is absolutely outstanding as to why we should meditate. If we look at the path of the yogi, it is a much more sophisticated path of coming to terms with the cosmic level and the place of the individual within that cosmic level. That's a very different goal to the regular survival instincts of having an effective and functional life. But under all circumstances, we can say that meditation, when correctly used, is transformational. And from the research that we see where it has been done, it is for the positive.
Thank you very much, Karine, for beautiful advice, because meditation is a personal practice, and the practice is related to the condition of a person. So it must be personal approach for teaching that meditation, and also that person has a proper personal guidance through the process. Then it's absolutely the best, because today on internet and through this internet guru system, there is so many informations, and so in that sense, we can say we discourage people to try on their own from the books or the different internet sources to start practicing different kind of meditations. It's better to search for some teacher of meditation regarding the method which the person would like to practice, and then evaluate that method and see the scientific basis of the and effects, and then in properly trained teacher to learn in a proper way that method and practice. So thank you very much for that. And Yogi Baba Adnanji.
Yes. What is the subject?
The subject is the approach to meditation, that whether some improper approach can bring some disadvantage of the practice.
Okay. Well, I should say 24 hours constant awareness is meditation. Continuously, simply, without any exaggeration. Now, when the meditation is not correctly, we know what happened is the energy body is confused and it affects the mind, and the mind can become aggressive and can become confused. Like example, we have sometimes students we have experienced the Shakti energy awakening them because we are doing a lot of practices, and maybe they have the intention. Some of them have some awakening, but it's not complete Kundalini awakening, but some nadis are opening, some chakras are affected, so they have sort of energy awakening, but it's not so healthy because it is only one side, it's not complete, because the body is not purified. As I mentioned from the beginning, if we are going to go on this path for enlightenment, the path is purification. The target is enlightenment, but the path is purification. If you don't go in every part of our body, which we say three example, mind, body, and spiritual or the energy body, if you don't have this purification in those bodies and we do any practices, we can have problems, because we experience that with many students. When the Shakti awaken and the path is not, the nadis are not purified, the Shaktis, Shushumna or Ida Pingala, this energy will be stuck there, cannot go up, because the intention is to go up to the Almighty, to go home. So when it cannot go up, it is stuck there. It brings pain, it brings confusion, destruction in the person. The person go to chaotic emotional state. He go to almost trauma, and we try to help them, of course. But this state, when they become in that state, in medical science, they don't understand the energy body, so they think the schizophrenic personality has developed. So they take them to a mental hospital, unfortunately. I think in all mental hospitals, half of the patients are Kundalini awakening, but not in unpurified body, unpurified state. So that's the problem. So that's why I think also the world has to, the medical world has to recognize that we are not just physical. The energy body is much more dominant than physical body, and there's many diseases can arise in energy body when we are not purified clearly, when we don't think positive, when our heart is negative, we have a lot of problems. So they have to create a new medical system to treat the body, mind, and energy at the same time. Otherwise, we face a lot of problems. Now, we have in Sufism, we have also meditation. And in Sufism, meditation is surrendering to Allah, to Almighty. And the person himself, he say, I am nothing. I am just nothing. Everything is here. Allah is everything. Because he say, I am nothing, from that point of view, the mind stops, because the mind only expects Allah is everywhere. Allah is dominating, He is everything, and you are nothing. So that nothingness, when you awaken your heart chakra, which is love, with that love, you become part of that great feeling. You become part of it, because now you realize that as a human being, you are here in this world to evolve and understand why you are here and to become a servant. In fact, what I have understood, all of us, we are here to be a servant, to serve the universal structure, the nature. The reason we are here, by becoming a servant, we will help the universe to expand, because the universe is expanding continuously, is not stopped. By our development, our love, compassion to the nature and to universe, as a servant, we help the universe to expand in a healthy manner. So I wish everybody realize that.
Thank you, Yogi Baba Nanji. And I like very much your emphasis on the Shuddhi, the method of the purification. And this is actually in the second chapter of the Yoga Sutras, the Sutra number 28, where the Patanjali is stating what is the purpose of yoga, that the practice of the limbs of yoga is there to achieve ashuddhi kshaya. Kshaya means to reduce, and ashuddhi means impurity. So by reducing impurities, by the process of purification, then we are achieving that inner light of distinguishing knowledge, which can distinguish between your true self and what is the fake self, and get self-realization. So purification is the most important, and that's why the yoga has practices Vayu Shuddhi, Nadi Shuddhi, to purify the physical body, to purify the function of life energy on the physical, on the energy level, on the subtle body, and then Manas Shuddhi, and then Atma Shuddhi, and everything is just Shuddhi. So this is important, and it's necessary today to distinguish the approach of yoga practice for the health. Those who have some health problems, they need first practice yoga therapy approach for the health. And when they become completely healthy with normal function of the Vayu and the Nadi is purified and the prana, then they can practice spiritual yoga for self-realization. Otherwise, they can create different problems for their health, mental and physical. For example, in the practice of the bandhas, we know that the Mula Bandha, which is related to the base of our torso, and that by that bandha you are redirecting the movement of the Apana Vayu in the upward direction. But you need proper normal function in the downward for elimination. If somebody has already problem with the elimination, and then he is doing that practice, he will make even worse problem. He will disturb his health condition. So he need to practice the yoga method, how to normalize the proper function of the prana vayu, apana vayu in their normal, because the spiritual practices are opposite of the normal practice for the health. Because the spiritual practice, you want to withdraw energy to sushumna and raise up. And for that, you need to have the very healthy condition of the mind and the body to be able to go further. Yes.
As we are left with only 12 minutes, if we can give
audience. Yes. Thank you, Vikramji. Just Lotharji, your observation on that point.
Are you muted, Lotharji?
Thank you. Very beautiful points that all of you have brought out here. Regarding the safety of our evolution and meditation practices, there are three things. I mean, from my experience, having taught thousands of people in all continents, what gives us confidence are three things. First of all, we have the ancient tradition of the Vedic masters and all the Vedic literature. Secondly, we have millions of people with the wonderful experiences. And thirdly, very important, we have a lot of scientific evidence. Alone about transcendental meditation, there are 700 studies that have been published in peer-reviewed journals. And just to give you an example, the American Heart Association has endorsed transcendental meditation to reduce blood pressure. This is a very big step based on a lot of scientific evidence. There are so many studies from health insurances around the world. The biggest health insurance in America is called Blue Shield Blue Cross. And they have in the state of Iowa 500,000 members, out of which 2,000 have been practicing TM. And they were taking their data for 5 years. And they found that heart diseases were 80% less about, nervous disorders 94% less. Tumors like cancer, 56%. There are so many studies that show the direction it can go. And what I can see and observe from my experience for the progress of those who start the spiritual way is two things are important. One is the knowledge about the whole thing, and Jadranko is a great Shastri, he knows all the things. And for those who may not understand all these terms, Maharishi has made it very simple. He has created a course of the science of creative intelligence, which explains consciousness from a scientific point of view. And the other thing is the experience of the pure consciousness. If people don't transcend, if they don't experience the bliss consciousness, it's not helpful. So knowledge and experience, they have to go together. And I think the world needs an awakening, and meditation is the way to that. And there are different approaches, and I think I see a more awakening in Germany, where I have been active in many countries of the world. And I would like to congratulate all of you who have taken this way to spread yoga and meditation for the good of mankind. So I would like to thank Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar for his initiative to bring us all together and join forces for the betterment, for the enlightenment of the individual, and really a more peaceful society. I think we can do it. So thank you also, Jadranko, and all the other speakers and all the listeners.
I think some questions are there in chat box, Jadranko ji.
Yes, thank you very much, Lothar ji. Now we have some short time for some questions. And so the question is, is it correct that if a woman wants to join TM meditation, being initiated in the meditation, it should be done by a female transcendental meditation teacher and not male, and vice versa?
Before anybody answer, I have a small request, because we are left with less time. If answers can be kept very brief, more people can ask questions.
Yes, this is the only question until this moment.
It is recommended before Maharishi passed. He expressed that this would be, more to the traditional value. But if there is no female teacher around, or if you would like to have a specific teacher, there are also exceptions. But in general, it's desired to be like that.
Thank you. So please, some other question regarding the topic. And I think we had very nice discussion on that topic from different angles, and giving some insight for your further study on that topic of meditation. Because
there is one question in chat box, Jadranko ji.
Yes. Some light on the right and the left nostril breathing practice. Some question on the left and the right nostril breathing question. So somebody like to answer, or I answer? So it's the left and the right side. Basically, we need to understand this is related to the breathing exercise or pranayama. So we need to understand when pranayama begins and when we start working with the prana, because pranayama means expansion of the value of the prana, and when the nostrils becomes the nadis, because the prana moves through the nadis, we know, and then we have two nostrils, left and right nostril, and the breath is moving. But when you have a conscious experience of the breath and knowledge about the movement of the breath on the basis of the sense of touch of the breath, which it is creating in the internal space, then this is prana. So the prana is the energy which is giving ability of consciousness to move in a conscious way based on some concrete experience, not visualization or anything, but pratyaksha, direct experience of the experience. So when you are starting feeling the knowledge of the related to the breath movement, to the internal space, then this becomes the pranayama, the prana. And then there is this polarity left and right, the working on different areas of your brain. The right nostril connected with the left side of the brain, the left with the right side. And there is a lot of theory about that and regarding the practices. But basically, we need to understand what is the pranayama, what is the purpose of the breathing. That breathing, the purpose is that we become conscious. And then in the ancient text, you have 10 kinds of pranayama in relation to the 10 indriyas. So this is the pranayama in relation to the breath. But whatever you do in a conscious way, it becomes pranayama. If you are eating food in a conscious way, it becomes pranayama. If you are walking in a conscious way, it becomes pranayama. If you are doing anything during your lifetime, during your day in a conscious way with full presence, then it becomes pranayama. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody can unmute and ask question if you want also. As we are left with 4 minutes, anybody, if you have question, you can unmute also. You can text also.
If there is no, I have one nice comparison of the pranayama about the horse running on a big open field, and then there is a rider enjoying that ride on the back of the horse. So that field, first you need to open the breathing body, and this is the function of the vayu, to release the tension from the muscles related for that action of expanding, retracting your torso, to bring to the tonic condition. Then you will feel that movement all over the body. You open the space, and the horse needs space to run. And then the breath is the horse. It is moving in that space and coming out. And who is the rider on the breath? On the horse is the rider. It's a prana. The prana is the rider. The breath is the horse. And the vayu is that open field. So just to have this difference of this.
Perfect. Jadranko, one more question has come in.
Yes. General physical and mental well-being. There are many people who are not coming to meditation for spiritual purposes and most likely won't experience deeper levels of consciousness. Should you encourage them to go deeper or explain them in a more simplified way how to support them with their experience? So this is some regarding more kind of advice for the people who want some health benefits from the practice of yoga. So, Karine, would you like to give some comment on that question?
About the physical and mental well-being, I think what we haven't spoken about is the process of visualization, which is prior to meditation, but it assists people to relax and to experience a very deep relaxation. And for example, if someone is suffering from anxiety, for example, you would give them a practice at first, which would include asanas, but at the end, you might give a visualization where you have the moon and everything that the moon, the cooling effect, the healing effect, the subconscious effect. You use some of the tools of the imagination, of bhavana, to cool the system down, to calm the system from that anxiety, to visualize the moon having a healing effect on the body. So we can use some of the tools that we have of imagination as a step towards meditation, but giving giving the student an insight into being able to use their own resources to create a level of transformation, a sense of relaxation, and a sense of well-being.
Over to you, Jadranko ji.
Yes, thank you very much, Karine ji, for your answer. And is there any other question?
I think our time is also over. Yes.
May I say something on the subject?
Yes, yes, yes.
I would say that not only for meditators or yoga practitioners in the society in general, when I go around, if I see some people has some problem, difficulties, emotional, mental attitude, and some support, I tell them, use this technique. 3 deep breath technique, 3 deep breath meditation. You have to do nothing. I tell them, just do nothing. When you feel you are uncomfortable, you have pain, you have stress, you are angry, whatever you have, just tell yourself, I need to stop. I need to stop. You just go and stop, sit somewhere, ask for nothing, just take 3 deep breaths and exhale very gently and stay there as far as you can. Just do nothing. And you have to understand, I tell the person, that you have right for sometimes in a day to do nothing. Just do nothing. Not physical, not mental. Just stop, relax your mind. I just tell everyone, and this is a good method I use.
Yes, beautiful, practical. And one also very simple, it comes now from the last research of the psychoneuroendocrinology from the world leading psychologists and neurologists in the world. They said that there is one final medicine, and this is love. And then cherishing that feeling of love is the highest medicine. It is transforming the consciousness and the body. It improves the health dramatically. So whenever we feel some anger or some negative emotions, whatever, then remember the quality of love. And then this creates, it's not suppression, it is just allowing mind to be transformed by through its own knowledge and memory of that, and then cherishing that value will bring the mental health and the physical health. Just love as the highest medicine, which is very free and available all the time, 24 hours.
Jadranko.
Okay, Marija, you may unmute and speak, but we are left with no time. So if you can be very brief in your question.
Hello. To Mr. Adnan, when you say take 3 deep breaths, these 3 deep breaths, wouldn't they enhance the state of mind that is already erratic? Or should we just observe the breath as it is?
It's a very good question. You just sit down and you tell yourself, I don't want anything right now. I want time for myself to do nothing. So start to take deep breath as much as you can and exhale very slowly and keep your eyes closed just 3 times. And that's all. And you stop there. The rest will work out for you. You will be in peace. You will have peace. Then you can continue.
Okay, thank you.
This is good practice from Maharishi Patanjali. The Chitta Prasadanam, one of the methods is to achieve the calmness of your consciousness is to prolong exhale and adding even holding after the exhale. So prolonging exhale, this is the very important. It is activating parasympathetic nervous system. And with that conscious breathing, the vagus, ventral part of the vagus gets activated also to reduce anxiety and activate parasympathetic nervous system to bring calmness. So it's a very good practice and scientifically proven, what Yogi Baba Adnan said.
It's also detoxifying. It detoxifies the system as well, so that we're reducing toxins in the system, we're reducing stress in the system, and you can see the effect fairly quickly.
Thank you.
Vikramji, I think the time is we crossed
Yes.
little.
Yes.
So thank you so much for all the panelists and guest speakers and participants, and overall Dr. Vikramji for his very devoted work to bring knowledge of yoga to the world. And thank you all very much. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Jadranko ji, and Baba Adnan ji, Karine ji, Dr. Lothar. Wonderful audience. I'm sure this panel discussion, the way the questions were asked and the way the answers were given, it is going to be in the repository of United Consciousness for Global Wellbeing. Very soon we will be publishing this whole panel discussion, so that you would like to listen it again and again. At least I will like to listen whole panel discussion once again. We invite you on behalf of European Yoga Federation and United Consciousness to join us in between 13 to 21st of June 2026, where together we are organizing one of the world's biggest International Yoga Day celebration. We also would like to invite you on 15th, 16th and 17th of January 2027 to India for a global program which United Consciousness conducts once in every 2 years. So book your calendars. 13 to 21st of June, online International Yoga Day celebration, and 15th, 16th and 17th January, in-person celebration in India. Thank you very much. Pranam.
Thank you, and nice to be a servant of the system. I am happy to be a servant.
Let's have a group photograph. Whosoever wants to switch on the camera will be wonderful for the memory's sake. So I'm also clicking. Anybody else can also click. This is wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Some new cameras are open. We can take one or more quick pictures. Excellent. Excellent. Perfect.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you, Jadranko ji.